Hey everybody, thanks for coming to my channel. As you can see from the title, this is a quick video on how to change the window regulator on a Saturn Vue. Now I have my helper with me today, so thank her for coming through. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. Now the Saturn Vue series goes from, if I remember correctly, 2001 to 2010. The particular vehicle I'm using in this video is the base model. You have the red line, the green line in the base. Which is just a basic 2.2 liter engine, fully gasoline, non-hybrid. This video will still apply to all the other models. Changing the window regulator is pretty much going to be same in all of them. And actually the parts are pretty interchangeable too. Now this is not a super complicated job. It's pretty easy. There's certain parts that are a little harder than others, but for the most part it is pretty easy. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take off this little mini speaker. A flat-headed screwdriver will do. It just has only one clip in there, and it just basically it pops out. You put the screwdriver in the top corner right here and pop it out. Now remember, these are plastic parts, so be careful you don't break anything. Next thing, you can unplug the speaker if you want to by pushing the tabs on each side and pulling out. Matter of fact, if I remember correctly, there's not even tabs in it, but you can just pull it out. But for this particular video, we're not going to do that. We're just going to let it hang. All right, the next thing is there's two tabs on each side of the door. I mean, on each side, on the side of the door. They have little spaces in there to put the flathead screwdriver. And you would pop out the middle. You can pull the whole thing out once you have that middle popped out. Sometimes they give you a hard time. And if they do, it's fine. They're plastic. They generally, you can just put them back together and move on. Next, we're going to go to the inner part of the door, take out these little small screws, which are 8mm, 7mm, I think, 7mm. We want to take this plate off. The next place we're going to the door handle. This is very fragile. It can break on you. As you can see, just put your little flathead screwdriver into the groove at the bottom and start popping it out from the bottom and work your way up. You can put your screwdriver in at the side and just twist the screwdriver and it will pop it up. Just be careful because again, this will break. We're not going to take the screws out right now. We're just going to remove all the plates so we can have access to our screws. Your third panel we're going to take out is the one behind the door latch. In the lower corner, there's a space that you can put your screwdriver in to help pop it out. The next thing we're going to do is take out the bolts. There's 2 bolts on the inner part of the door, and there's 3 bolts. One inside the door jamb, or two inside the door jamb and one behind the door latch. Now, the ones in the door jamb are 10mm. There's actually going to be 3 10mm. The ones in the door jamb and the one behind the door lever are both 10mm. The ones on the inner part of the door are 7mm. Now, remember, these are plastic parts and can break easily. But if you do break easily, I found that these parts aren't super hard to find or replace. So we're going to take these 5 screws out. And once we have the 5 screws out, we're going to go ahead and pull out the door latch. So you're going to pull it from the inside, pull it out, and then slide it towards you like so. And then once you slide it towards you, we're going to kind of push it right there into the door a little bit, because once we take the door jamb out, we want to pull it through the groove. All right, so now we pop the door jamb out from the bottom and you lift it up. Once you have the door off, we're going to remove the lock from the handle. So there's clips around the lock that you can use a tiny little flathead to pop out or push out your way so you can pop the lock up. And then you just put your screwdriver in from underneath it and pop it up like so. There's 4 of them on each side. And then once we have that released, we want to remove the inner liner from the door. I'm assuming that's for soundproofing. I don't know exactly, but I'm guessing for soundproofing. I know personally I had to cut the little holes in there a little bigger, but outside of that, it wasn't too difficult. And take it off slow and take your time, because you can use the same glue to put it back on. That's the hole I had to cut a little bigger in order to fit the door handle through. Once you get off, you can just set it to the side, and then we're gonna move on. So what we need to do is remove the screws that holds the glass onto the window regulator assembly. So what I typically use is a power probe, which I connect to give it power to lower the window. There's other videos you can look into about using a power probe. I don't do it in this video. But the power probe allows me to raise and lower the window without having to have the car on or uses the switch. So these are the two screws that I need to get off of. In my particular car, you see the white pieces blocking the one screw, but in your vehicle, it might not. That screw right there gives me the hardest time. So again, if the piece is not blocking it, you can just use your impact and take it right off. And it should only take you but a few minutes. I'll have to use a 10mm wrench to take it off. But for right now, what we're going to do, we're going to release that bar right there. There's going to be 3 10mm screws to remove those. And we're going to take those off right now. So what I typically like to do is remove all the screws I can have access to, and then the ones I don't. With the other screw removes, allows me to move the window around and move the bar around however I need to in order to get to that last screw. But again, for what I end up having to do was use a 10mm wrench to remove those. Here I'm using a 10mm wrench. It's a really tight fit, and I ain't gonna lie, it's a real pain in the behind. But taking it off is a lot harder than putting it back on. But there it's finally out. The next thing then, we would need to take these 3 bolts off, which actually hold the window regulator motor. And those are just 3 10mm bolts, come off very easily. The third problem you're gonna have is unplugging the motor. All right. Now the way the wire to the motor sits way up here. It doesn't come down. For some reason, the way they built this door, it is really hard to get to the wire in the motor. Okay, we're gonna have to look through these holes. See, I'm sticking my hand up in there. That's it. So what's gonna happen? You're gonna have to take a flathead and push this piece down. Push it down and back. All right. Again, just remember this little piece right here. We're gonna push it down. Take a little flathead, push it down and back. That piece is gonna be right here in this motor. Right? You should push it down and back and it'll pop right out. Let me apologize, that last video ended abruptly because the first time I shot it, the audio didn't come out right. But pretty much shows everything you need to know. Once you get it unplugged, you just put the new one in and you can pretty much figure out how it goes. Or just watch the video again and just do everything backwards. The removal is much more difficult than the install. One thing I found. And another thing I found is that one screw, which had a little piece of plastic that's blocking it, it wasn't in all the vehicles. So I went and got my parts from Pull Apart, which is a junkyard, and there was a lot of other Chevy Vues in there. So it was easy for me to get parts for the window. And I don't know if this thing is even called a Chevy Vue or a Chevy Vue or a Chevy Vue. Thank you again for watching. If you have any videos you'd like to see concerning the Chevy Vues or any other video, just leave a suggestion down below and I'll see about making it happen. Again, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.